we're living in the digitalized era of Genghis Khan. So, back in the days of Genghis Khan, it would be like war would take place physically, right? But I feel like now, you fast forward to modern day times in 2026, war takes place more like psychologically, socially. So it's all about status. And all of it's been about status. The physical war from back in the day was about status. The psychological wars of today, it's about status. The goal is the same, but the way in which we operate to achieve the goal is different because things evolve over time. But at the same time, paradoxically, and ironically, things in a certain way, in a certain sense, never change in terms of like what is the outcome. The outcome has always been to have the most land, to be owners of many property, to have a lot of influence within society, and to be able to attain that as quick as possible, so that we can live a better life for longer. And so the same things happen with social media. It's translated into more sort of like a digital world, a digital realm. And social media is a digital currency. So how many followers you have, how many likes you have, how many views you get, all of these statistics are tools that you can use to grow, like, or things that you should grow, and they're tools to have an insight into, what how important you are, and what you can leverage based off of how important you are. And I think a lot of people need to take like more, they need to be more serious on social media, because everyone uses social media, right? Everyone's on, like, everyone's on all these platforms, Instagram, whatever you use, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. And so everyone's aware of what all the big platforms are, especially if you have connection to internet. You got a device like a mobile phone or a laptop, computer, whatever. But I just feel like a lot of people are not taking it seriously. A lot of people are not developing aesthetics on their page, and building some type of like relevancy to themselves, and finding ways to garner attention so they can create a community that they can leverage off of, and make money from, whether that's selling a service or product later down the line, doing advertisement, all that type of stuff. And that's what I'm interested in. I've always been interested in this since I was young, because I grew up with social media. Like, I'm Gen Z, so it's like it's what I've been seeing for the last 10, 15 years of my life, so it's kind of a thing of like, I was just born like pretty much like in the right time, just after the 2000s. So it was just perfect for me to like witness social media from like the very beginning all the way up until now, where we're 20 plus years into the game, and it has truly become the mecca for what's important in life. And people need to be more serious, because everyone has an account on social media platforms, especially the more popular ones, but they don't utilize that account to any good. They're infrequently posting, or they're not posting at all, or they're posting about things that are not really relevant and valuable to the market, so they can't monetize off of it. And you need to be focused on like building some type of brand, and just working at that, the same way you would at a job. Although the only difference is, 9 to 5 jobs and regular jobs and careers and all of that stuff is kind of, to me at least, it's not really worth it anymore, because the incline of social media is so vast, it's so rapid, that you kind of have to hop on the wave, because you're gonna get left behind just purely focusing, sticking to your 9 to 5 job, and going out to the pub on the weekends and enjoying time with friends, when you could be utilizing all this time to build up a brand that is going to like only increase over time, and it's going to compound upon itself to the point where you can increase your income weekly, monthly, yearly, at rates far quicker than the inflation rate, and therefore far quicker than the workforce rate. So I'm a big proponent of working smart and hard, and it's better to work hard in something that's going to be that's something that is more in something that is it's more smart for you to do, like don't get left behind, because, you know, and I say, we're in the digitalized era of Genghis Khan, and it's like, yeah, because social media, girls are very in tune, women are very in tune with social media. They're being exposed to the top guys every time they open a social media app like Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, etc. They're seeing the most viral mainstream content at the current moment in time, and they're comparing that to you in her DMs and other guys in her DMs, and they're trying to see, okay, out of the guys in my DMs, which guy has the most potential, or is closest to matching up to this, and then that's the guy she'll pick. And if you're not that guy, if you're fifth in line, you've got no chance. Unless you get on it today and you start to realize, well, okay, yeah, I'm gonna build a social media presence and following. What am I talented at? What am I good at? Am I good at speaking to a camera? Do I have eloquent speech? Am I able to, do I have a vast diction and way of speaking that can attract listeners? Can I make music? Can I edit? Skills that you need to bring to the table in order to be able to have some type of value to the marketplace. I've been non-stop posting shorts and, attracting visibility towards like the things I'm doing, which is like music, business, etc. Right? And so I've got all these things going on, and there's more things, and I still feel like there's more I need to be doing, even though I'm doing things all the time. Like when I get off this video, I'm going to be back to working on business, doing my reselling, dropshipping, e-commerce type of stuff. I'm going to be back to posting shorts. I'm going to upload this. I'm going to, so I'm going to promote on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. I'm doing a lot. And because I'm doing all this, I don't really have time for a job like that, but I do get paid. And, because I've had my business for a while. I've been speaking about business since the inception of this channel, but I switched businesses like in the time that I was gone, because I was gone for about 6 months, half a year. And so I kind of switched businesses in that time and started doing something that was just more smarter and would higher earning potential, and it's worked out for me. But it wasn't easy. It was hard. I had to kind of get out of my own head and be like, I need to just do something better. I need to be better. I'm not good enough. And I knew I wasn't. Now, at least I feel, every day I feel like I've achieved, every day I feel now that like I'm well accomplished compared to before when I wasn't doing as much. But even so, I still have this imposter syndrome where I'm like, I need to do more. There's more I can be doing. And that's ultimately what's going to lead to my future success. And so I'll thank myself now, for getting the work done. Because I know in 7 years, when it comes to having kids and a family, I'm going to be ready and I'm going to be excited for it. And my kids are not going to grow up how I grew up and have to go through all the same hardships and struggles. I'm still going to have to teach them the meaning of some hardship and struggle, getting them in the gym earlier than I ever did, earlier than I ever took my health seriously, earlier than I ever took business seriously. I'm going to have them do all this stuff that I'm doing now as a 20-something in their teens, to get them prepared for that 20-something stage. So when they hit that, they're already making like $1 million a year, and so it's kind of just this thing of like inheritance and, bringing my kids up and making them monsters, making them the best they can possibly be. Because that's truly what I'm aiming to be as well. So, you gotta be on your stuff. You gotta be evaluating, the current infrastructure of the way society is, all across the world, and be like, okay, what can I do to make sure that I'm successful as possible, especially at my age, because I'm in my 20s, and for all these guys in their 20s, they're stuck working 9-to-5 jobs. Like, you have a big decision to make in your life. Like, if you're 20 something listening to this right now, like from 20 to 29, you have a big, for the teens that's listening, if you're under 20, you've got a little bit more time. But if you are listening, this is extremely valuable to you, and you're only going to be ahead of guys like me and guys within my age range. You're going to be ahead of dudes a couple years older than you. So if you're in your teens, you can still onboard this as well, and you should. But if you're in your 20s specifically, it's not a should or could. You have to. on board this, but you have to make the decision to say like, look, are you going to stick or twist? It's important to know whether you should stick or twist in your once you hit your 20s, because that's going to like whatever you do in your 20s is pretty much going to reflect you for the reflects for the rest of your life. Like, is in terms of, are you going to be able to have enough money, make at least like $1 million, £1 million a year, €1 million a year, a million whatever a year from wherever you're from, wherever you're listening to this from, and are you going to be able to make at least $1 million in your currency or more a year to be able to you know capitalize on to be able to better capitalize on the opportunity of having a more prosperous life and having that secured as young as possible, so that you can make sure you're still going to be able to be with a woman who's like of a similar age to you, and be able to do these things before like her eggs run out, before she starts to become unfertile, or have like or be put into the pregnancy risk category, all that type of thing. Like, I'm trying to rush to get to £1 million or more per year before I'm 30. Even by the time I'm 25, it's possible. It might happen, it might not happen, but I don't care. I'm gonna keep going until it happens, because that's the only way I see life. Like, I don't see life any other way. So I'm really big on creating a social platform for myself, a community, an audience that I can leverage multiple different platforms, multiple different channels, and just being as consistent as possible. I thought about even live streaming, but sometimes I feel like, I don't know, that's not my style. But maybe I'll get a set up one day and probably live stream. That's something, maybe I should do it now. I don't know. But that's something that I've been considering as well. But I enjoy making these videos because then I'm able to go off and do my music. I'm able to go off and do business. I'm able to go off and do investing and other things. So I don't know. I kind of have my hand in a couple of different things. So live streaming is not at the forefront of my mind. But I like the idea of it. So I might have to like look into it a bit more. But I'm just brainstorming here, giving ideas, because ideas to what I think is relevant, and has been relevant, proven to be relevant over the past 20 years. Like, people who have taken social media super seriously since its inception, look where they are now. Like, guys like, for example, Bradley Martin, off of like, he's like a gym fitness influencer, OG influencer, who has like a really big audience now. And he's been trending a lot for recent podcast episodes, bringing on interesting guests, having relevant, but unique discussions to people who live, far from the norm. And he's got all the normies tapped in to the people who are far from being normies, It's like the strangest people on the internet are getting the most views. They're getting the most engagement. They're getting the most money at the end of the day. So why wouldn't you also want to be strange and be unique and true to yourself and share your story and just develop and just share your interests and literally put them on the internet? Like, it's not going to hurt you. It's not going to harm you. The worst someone can say is stop doing what you're doing, but you don't have to listen to them, because if you think your content is valuable and it's actually getting some sort of reach, you enjoy doing it, then keep doing it, and just keep focusing on getting better as well. The worst someone could say is stop. The worst someone could say is like, I don't like this. Because for every person who says I don't like this, there's 100 people who do. So why would I care about one person? I get that a lot, but I keep pushing. It doesn't really matter. And so, you got to understand that if you want to be more attractive to women, you want to be more attractive to society in general, you want to get better treatment from the average individual, you have to have some sort of status and leverage and be valuable. Now, obviously, you're not going to go back and forth. When you go from being an average individual to a non-average individual, you're not really going to have that much personal interaction with average individuals anymore, because you're going to be in a non-average like circle. You're going to go from one level to the next. You can't go back and forth with the previous level. It doesn't work like that. But the people on the previous level will still tune into you, because they've seen where you've went from, what you've become, and chances are they're trying to do the same thing. You know, but a lot of people, but the sad thing is that a lot of people sit on the sidelines. They just watch life go by. They'll watch content, eat chips, eat hot chip and lie all day, watching content, and watch their lives go by. Like, no, you have to be doing something here, bro. Like, it's not good enough. You're just watching the content and feeling motivated, but what are you putting the motivation into? Nothing. You putting the motivation into eating more chips and grabbing more snacks for the live stream. Like, set up your own live stream. Do something. Because at the end of the day, bro, women are always watching. They're always noting. They're always looking for the dude either with potential or the dude that's already, like, pretty much made it. She'll only deal with the dude that is about to make it or is already made it. That's women. They're opportunists. They can sense when things are taking off or about to take off, and they're gonna grab their chance. But a lot of guys won't grab their chance. Like, every dude has a chance, so go and grab it. But not every dude will, because a lot of people are self-destructive, and I know what it's like to be like that. I've had my moments, but I'm completely out of that now. I'm just fully, bull run, charging ahead. I'm taking over the game, and that it's as simple as that. That's why I had to come back. So, and I mean, taking a break wasn't really my intention, but I had my phone breakdown and all of that, so it just happened. It just worked out like that. But I'm back now, and I'm consistent. I don't think I'm going anywhere. Things are far better than they were before, so yeah, I can say it with confidence. I don't think I'm going anywhere. And so, social status, it's just so important, man. Like, again, with that example, using Bradley Martin, bringing him up earlier in the video and using him as an example, it was like, it's like he's been around. He took social media very seriously when social media, when people first started using it, most people weren't taking it seriously. They still don't now, so not a lot has changed in that regard, but he saw, okay, this is going to be the next big things, because I can see a few apps are already popping up and they already mirror each other. All I have to do is get my account on all of those apps consecutively and post the same things over and over and just slightly modify it to the specific application that I'm catering towards, right? And over time I'll grow. He did that for years on end when no one really cared, and now look at him. He's huge. Like, he's got millions of followers, dedicated audience, and he could take a long break off of YouTube now. Say if he went away for a year and went to live life, he could come back and just pretty much off of a 1 year break, come back, get millions of views again, and be like, this is what happened over the 1 year break. I had life situations, I had vacations, this, that, and the other thing. But that's because he already has like a dedicated audience. He already has something of value that he brings that no one else can quite replicate in the same way. So shout out to Bradley, man. And it's like he's been in the game for 15 years. I admire that. I'm looking at that like, okay, you see, he was my age when he first started up and taking social media seriously. So it's like, for me, if I go for 15 years, I could be at his level. I could be bigger, I could be smaller. But the point is that it's crazy. He's earning so much money now. It's wild, I think he said something, or one of his guests said something, that they couldn't even imagine living on like 50K a month. I think it was Togi or something like that. And it's like, damn, I want to get to a level where, like, I look at 50K a month and I'm like, that's not enough. Because it's so, I don't know, it's just so inspiring. And I love it. I fell in love with the game. At first, I was a hater of the game. But then over time, I became, I started to think, let me just hop in the game for real. And I started to fall in love with it. And that's truly what it takes to be great. You have to fall in love with the process. Because it will keep you doing it. You'll only keep progressing. And it's a win-win situation. Because if you tried it and you failed, you gain some insight on why you failed. Maybe you can try another way. You try another way, you succeed. You gain some insight on why you succeeded. But then also, you're just happy that you succeeded at the end of the day. after putting in so much effort. And that's what I'm trying to convey in the video. It's like, what's really value, what's really worth your time nowadays? Like, okay, you could be working a 9-to-5 job, but outside of that, you got to be doing something else. You got to be doing a couple other things on top of that, to be able to make sure you're giving yourself the best possible chance of becoming a millionaire. Because it's hard to become a millionaire doing one thing. Unless you're exceptional at that one thing, then you can. And if you're exceptional at something, like you're an exceptional audio engineer, you're an exceptional footballer, you're an exceptional musician, you're an exceptional, one-of-one freak physique, Greek god that can compete in the Olympia, then it's different, right? You just do that over and over again, and you'll easily be a millionaire, probably at a really young age as well, and probably really quickly within a short space of time, within a year or two, right? But if you're not that, if you're not like a Sam Sulek, who is obviously very genetically gifted in terms of his like physique and his proportions, and he can compete in the Olympia and he can win at the age of 23, something ridiculous like that. If you're not that specimen of human, then you might have to look at if you're not exceptional at one thing. Because for me, I would say personally that I wouldn't consider myself to be exceptional at any one thing, right? I'm good at quite a few things. I'll say that. And so because I'm good at quite a couple of things, I focus on those couple of things that I'm good at. And I try to see over time if I can add more skills to my repertoire. But if you're not exceptional, a specimen at something, you're going to have to be like a jack of all trades. So figure out which one you are and roll with it. Do what's required. Don't question it too much. Because, as I say, status it's super important. People's whole perception changes of you. If you're an average person, they'll talk to you a certain way until you pull up your Instagram right in front of their face. Now they're talking to you a completely different way. And these things are super important. But I think I've expressed my point enough. The video is running for quite a while. I'm going to end it because I got a bit of a sore throat and I probably need to take a drink. But I hope y'all got the message anyway.